Hello, and welcome to Best of One, the best format in Magic. Today we're going to be looking at a deck that I'm sure everybody is very familiar with, and that is Mono Blue. And we're going to be drawing attention to a card that goes criminally underutilized, Academy Loremaster. I feel like I can show you with these games that Academy Loremaster really is not just a fantastic choice in these Haughty Djinn Mono Blue aggro decks, but in fact it is a good replacement for Delver of Secrets, which is a card I think is criminally overrated because of its past reputation as a format warping one-drop monster. Unfortunately, Standard now has cut down, and we need to find better things than a 1/1 that dies before you untap. Let's look at the deck. As I've already mentioned, we've got no one-drop creatures here. No turn 1 Delver of Secrets. It's just, look, I know it's good when we get it, but we don't. And it's better to have a long-term game plan than it is to be gambling, even in Best of One, where gambling is highly encouraged. At 2, we have most of our deck. We have Academy Loremaster, which is honestly kind of a good 2-drop. There's a lot of decks where you play this and it forces a choice on to your opponent, either to take the draw and really cut back on their own tempo because they weren't planning on having that debuff on themselves, or just giving you the free draw on your next turn. Ultimately, if Academy Loremaster draws removal as well, that is fantastic because it makes space for your 2 real threats, which are, of course, Haughty Djinn, which is a fantastic card, makes all of this work, and Tolarian Terror, which is especially good because when you get late enough in the game, Tolarian Terror still costs 1 mana under Academy Loremaster's debuff. You can have 3 Loremasters on the go taxing you, and if you have 12 instants or sorceries in the graveyard, your Tolarian Terror is still 1 mana. Some other important notes. Different decks will play differing ratios of this back row here. I am a big fan of the 1 set of 1 mana protective spells and not even a full 4 of. You see decks that are playing 4 Shore Up and 4 Slip Out the Back and 4 Fading Hope, and it's just, look, okay. My criteria is we're only going to play 1 mana protection spells that are also removal. Fading Hope is fantastic. If you can use it for removal, then it's actually serving its purpose. Really, it should only be a protection spell in a moment of panic. Slip Out the Back, generally a protection spell. Sometimes it turns an Academy Loremaster into a 3/4 and your opponent really doesn't know what the hell's going on because suddenly it doesn't die to cut down. And of course, the patented less than 24 lands. In this case, 20 lands I've found is a better number than cutting it all the way down to 18. You're really having a lot more turns where you do actually want 4 mana, especially the turn that you drop a Haughty Djinn, because you should never be just tempoing out a Haughty Djinn turn 3. That's just asking for pain. Let's see how it goes. Love that guitar. No turn 1 consider, but potential turn 2 Essence Scatter or Impulse, which is good. Now, we're on the play, so are they going to play a 2-drop creature? White, black. I don't think they are going to play a 2-drop creature, although they're probably going to play removal since they're in black. So let's hold on to this just because we don't want to give them a really good turn 2 tempo Infernal Grasp. And hopefully they play something good. Let's go Thirst for Discovery. And then turn 3 will go play a land, pass the turn. So now like Celestis. Interesting. I was not expecting that. Do we want to discard the basic land here? I actually think we don't. I think I'd rather discard the Fading Hopes. And just go Tolarian Terror and hold up a slip out the back. So what are they going to do turn 4? Are they going to go... Are they just going to try and shield dress? They're going to want to. Interesting.
Those who get in my way tend to regret it.
Unfortunate. This is why we play Slip Out the Back over Shore Up.
I've always hated crowds.
Cool. Now we go chunk you in the face. And do we play Loremaster? I think we do play Loremaster. Because we don't actually have any protection back here. We have to sort of just play the tempo. See, I'm fine with that. Like I said, cut down over here. That would have been a turn 2 fantastic play for them. You know, tap and cut down. Never want to give them that. Now, do they have a big creature to play? There it is. No, thank you. Do they plus the little... They don't. That's interesting. So, we... Do we play the island is the real question. You know, they've indicated they're not willing to plus the Lily Armor for no reason. So, I think that we do. Cool. So we're going to have to dig for any and all counter spells. Pay for that first. And now we're going to go Impulse for... What do we prefer? You can pay for Make Disappear, so that pretty much answers the question for us. And I should put my phone on silent. Beautiful. No.
You won't be outsmarting me.
Yes, I will discard the Negate. What a terrible decision I've had to make. I'd love to chonk face one more time. But unfortunately, I do not have removal. I do not have another phase out to bait the last sacrifice trigger. Interesting. So that doesn't... is that just face twice? Okay. Strange decision. So... do we... You're gonna attack me for 4? Okay. So now we definitely don't Fading Hope. Because we can just attack past it. How strange. What are they gonna do? Okay, cool. You gain some life. So they're looking for a way out. They're trying to figure out how they leave. That's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. That's dead. There's no... Yeah. That's the end of it all. And you know, it could have been... that could have been an out. If I hadn't had the negate, it would have been an out. But I did. You know? Ooh, interesting. This is a very proactive hand. We're going to keep that. And we're on the play. Woof. So the polite thing would be to consider on our turn. So that we don't have to pass priority a bunch. Ooh. Interesting. So, we definitely don't need that. Another land. So, we don't have any counterspells, so we just have to tempo this out. We may even tempo out the Haughty Djinn. Just because it's mono white and we have to stay ahead on board. It depends on what we draw. If we draw something worth risking the Loremaster proc, then we can Loremaster proc. But if we don't draw a counter spell, basically anything. If that was in your hand, then you could have taken the draw and cast that on my turn. Anyway, we have an Essence Scatter in hand, which means we're taking the draw. We're not going to attack, because that +1/+1 counter is not for use offensively. Now, the slip out the back is going to be good. We're potentially going to use it to keep Loremaster on the board and alive. I don't understand why people play these slow lands. They're not necessary. That is an interesting choice. Do we take out the recruitment officer? If they're playing this, it means that they don't have a better option in hand. But I really, 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 really want an Essence Scatter in hand for when they Thalia. I mean, they can't Thalia this turn, so we'll just draw another one. That's a plan. Interesting. Okay. Okay. My turn. Draw a Negate. I mean, this is the ideal turn 4 for us, so I can't really complain about that. We just have to see if we can outpace probably the best deck in best of 1 at the moment, which is white-blue soldiers. That said, it's white-blue soldiers running multiple Tranquil Coves, which is either a terrible net decking decision, or it means that this person is running soldiers off of a very restricted collection. They didn't attack. Wow. They don't even think that they can attack through the Haughty Djinn. It's really tempting the impulse here, but I'm not going. And now we can just draw a million cards. We have Haughty Djinn. We have another land in hand. We can just start chonking. Okay, instant speed combat tricks. They have the Agenda potentially. So we're gonna not attack. Just gonna draw this out for the content. That is an interesting choice. That is a good... They didn't draw a card though! Did they? No, they didn't. They have all these flash spells, and they're not drawing cards off the Loremaster. Like, that's the downside of the Loremaster. Is that if you're already playing flash spells, you can get cards for free. So the assumption... We let this come down because we didn't want to spend 3, because the assumption is that they're going to follow it up this turn with some sort of Anthem effect with the White-Blue Soldier Lord. Yeah, here we go. This is attacking into tricks. So, 4-3. I think that what we do is we block here. And we Fading Hope the other one. We say, off you go. Off you go to that island. So they have no instant speed response, which means they don't have an Age Engine. That's brave. We're just gonna say no to that for now. I imagine they were trying to save this from instantly dying. I will first... We'll discard that. Do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Look, they got 2 mana. 2 mana. I think we just chonk them in the head and see what they do. And then we play one of these and we pretend we don't have the other one. See, that's just fantastic. They don't have anything. They don't have any flash creatures in their hand. And the way you can tell, by the way, like, they could have been fully passing priority, like pressing enter. But the game will still give you priority in response to your opponent's actions, even if you press enter. Interesting. I don't have a counterspell for that. Oh no. Okay. I guess I'm not doing anything else the rest of this turn. That's better than Athalia. Unfortunately, it does not protect you the way that Athalia would. We're gonna decline. Yeah. Because unfortunately, you are dead on board to... I mean, most things. So there you have it. That is a perfect example of the fantastic power of the Academy Loremaster in this deck. A demonstration that you do not need the Delver of Secrets, because the goal of this deck is not to go long. Is not to go fast, sorry. It is to go long. And just generally how fantastic Tolarian Terror is as a card when it can still cost 2 mana under an Academy Loremaster, which is really just incredibly gross. So, thank you for joining me for Best of One. I hope Loremaster brings you much joy on ladder. And let me know in the comments if you think there's any tech that should really go with Academy Loremaster here. Obviously, this deck is completely unchanged from its Dominaria United incarnation. I'm sure there's some fantastic Brothers War cards that could go in here that I just haven't thought of. Leave your thoughts and tech in the comments, and have a good time on ladder.